My husband's company went bankrupt. But the money in our accounts kept growing. Our home overflowed with luxury goods. After checking his phone, I discovered he'd been kept as a sugar baby. Before his next hotel rendezvous, I slipped 2 little blue pills into his pocket. "Don't tire yourself out, Ethan," I soothed. "But don't slack off either." The living room now resembled a luxury boutique with designer bags and limited edition clothing. Staring at the latest $20,000 deposit, I frowned. 3 months had passed since Ethan's business collapse. Yet regular payments kept coming alongside increasingly extravagant gifts. His cheeks flushed when I confronted him. "New business deals," he stammered. "The gifts are from clients who know I'm married." "I wasn't born yesterday." His lies hung thick in the air. That night, I waited until his breathing deepened. "Ethan?" No response. His phone revealed a pinned contact labeled Sugar Mommy. Their sparse messages spoke volumes. Hotel addresses, times. His robotic received replies. Scrolling up, I found his plea. "Could payments go to my new account? My wife monitors the joint one." "Your problem," came the icy response. The patron later asked, "Does your wife like the gifts?" "She does. But this isn't necessary. Consider it compensation." Ironically thoughtful. This sugar mommy insisted on transparency, every transaction visible in our shared account. The contact date matched exactly when Ethan's company started failing. I remembered his panic back then. How he'd raged about my useless connections. Then suddenly he'd calmed, vowing to rebuild his fortune. Now I understood his funding method. Returning the phone, I stared at the pitch-black ceiling. The bitter taste of betrayal coated my tongue, yet part of me marveled at his dedication. Our account swelled while he performed. For our future. Apparently. The grandfather clock chimed 3 a.m. as I formulated my plan. Let him play the gallant martyr. I'd ensure every dollar stayed firmly in my name. When the time came, Ethan would learn there's no such thing as free luxury. I wanted to smother him with a pillow and fight it out. But my hands brushed against the luxurious silk bedding set instead. So smooth. So expensive. Bought with the sugar daddy's money. Maybe I should just run away from home. Of all times. The suitcase I pulled from under the bed was the $5,000 Ethan gave me last month. I opened the closet to pack clothes. Every piece was more expensive than the last. Each meticulously chosen to please me. All delivered fresh today. In the living room, designer bags cluttered the sofa with nowhere else to go. When I opened the shoe cabinet, the red soles of my heels still gleamed in the darkness, nearly hypnotizing me with their allure. I crawled back into bed. Like they say, no one should abandon wealth for love. Especially when whatever Ethan and I had was long gone. We started dating junior year. Back then, he'd already launched his own tiny startup. 2 years later, his business thrived, morphing into a full-fledged company. He wanted me to quit my job and become a homemaker. Hesitant, I held back until he handed over all his assets, proposed, and promised forever. I expected marriage to mirror our sweet dating years. Instead, Ethan grew increasingly distant. Work stress made him volatile. I refused to tolerate his outbursts every time he yelled. I slapped him back. This toxic dance lasted until our 3rd anniversary, when his company went bankrupt. At first, Ethan became despondent, snapping at me constantly. Then, like clockwork, $20,000 started appearing in our account monthly. Suddenly, Ethan started doting on me again. I'd mistaken it for remorse, turns out. It was guilt. Honestly, he shouldn't bother. Just focus on upping that monthly deposit. The next day, Ethan asked me for $3,000. Before I could question it, he blurted, "The client sent lavish gifts, we should reciprocate." Ah, returning favors to the sugar mommy. The guy's got professional ethics. Can't deny her impeccable taste. Though, judging by the gifts she sent, I knew this was serious. I was worried Ethan might botch the delivery and lose his job. So I decided to accompany him. At the third-floor luxury boutique, I helped Ethan pick out a brooch costing over $40K, slightly over budget. We can't look cheap when she's sending such expensive gifts, I said, privately thinking no pain no gain. Ethan seemed surprised by my sudden reasonableness, his eyes regaining that admiring spark as he reiterated, "Honey, even though this client's a woman, I swear, no need to explain." I cut him off, squeezing his arm. "I trust you completely." His gaze flickered with guilt. "You're such an amazing partner," he exclaimed. I patted his shoulder. "You work so hard for our family. Don't overexert yourself, but don't slack off either." As Ethan kept checking his watch post-purchase, I offered helpfully, "Why don't you deliver it now?" "Shows initiative." His eyes lit up despite token protests about weekend plans. While straightening his collar, I spritzed cologne behind his ears. "Work comes first. Besides, I've got my reunion tonight." My eyes darted to his pocket where I'd slipped 2 little blue pills earlier, given his stamina issues. This sugar mommy gig required performance enhancers. After he left, I selected a reunion outfit blending comfort with quiet luxury. My best friend Lily did a double take. "Laura, I thought your husband went bankrupt. New sugar daddy?" Leaning close, I whispered the truth. "My husband's the one being spoiled now." "This?" I clasped a new gold bracelet onto her wrist. "All his hard-earned rewards." Her confusion melted into glee. "Queen behavior," she cackled. Mid-laughter, the private dining room door opened. In walked a man wearing impeccably tailored charcoal suit. His handsome face the perfect blend of arrogance and charm. All eyes were drawn to him. I kept my head down, not daring to look up, because he was my high school boyfriend from old money, Ryan Lee. After graduation, I'd coldly broken up with him and never saw him again. Rumor was he went abroad. Not sure if he just returned, he'd skipped all previous reunions. Time had polished away Ryan's youthful edges, leaving CEO vibes radiating from his Armani suit. Lily Wilson nudged my elbow, whispering, "Regret dumping him now?" Regret? Only that I didn't demand more. His mother had handed me $100,000 cash to leave her precious son. Young me had never seen that much money, college tuition and living expenses solved in one neat package. Took years to realize $100,000 meant nothing to families like the Lee family. I shoveled abalone fried rice into my mouth, skin prickling under what felt like laser beams from across the table. Glancing up, I collided with those unfairly sculpted features like someone photoshopped a Greek statue into our group photo. Blushing, I resumed studying my plate. As shark fin soup gave way to drunken revelry, conversations turned chaotic. One classmate went mentally ill from stock market losses, but at least he's more lively now. Another gloated about her $20 million divorce settlement, conveniently forgetting the prenup cost her double that. Somehow, the spotlight swung to Ryan and me. "Why'd you two split? Must be kicking yourself now." "Huh?" Before I could answer, our class monitor jumped in. "Laura's doing fine. Her husband treats her well, right?" Ryan snorted into his whiskey. "Oh really?" His eyebrow arched like a corporate takeover. "Why yeah," I stammered. "Works himself to the bone for our lifestyle. That counts, right?" Later, I photographed Lily's cab license plate as she drunkenly proclaimed eternal friendship. "The next available taxi? 58 people ahead in the queue. Hubby not picking you up?" Ryan's voice dripped mock concern behind me. I really wanted to tell him my husband, Ethan, had more important matters to attend to, but I didn't respond. He continued, "Taxis are hard to catch here. Do you want me to give you a ride? No way. Ryan adamantly rejected my question, striding his long legs into the backseat of the Bentley parked roadside. The car remained stationary even when only 20 people remained ahead of me in the taxi line. I approached and tapped on the tinted window. The glass lowered to reveal Ryan's irritated expression. I already said I won't give you a ride. I just wanted to remind you this is a no parking zone. You'll get a $200 ticket. Laura. You still don't get me. Ryan theatrically loosened his tie. What do you think $200 means to someone like me? It means you're breaking traffic laws. Tense silence fell between us. As I turned to leave, his voice stopped me, not that I couldn't make an exception. Forget it. I'm fine. Just apologize. Laura. I said I'm fine. Fine. Get in. I slid into the leather seat. After awkward silence, Ryan cleared his throat and initiated conversation with the driver, Uncle Lee. Did you see the news? Some guy conspired with his mistress to murder his wife. Another tricked his spouse into going to northern Myanmar with his side piece. There's even one who beat his wife in front of his girlfriend until she went insane. TSK, these cheating men and their homewreckers. Since when had Ryan become such a tabloid junkie? He glanced at my stony face. Laura. How can you still trust Ethan? Is this your pathetic attempt to sabotage my marriage? I was drafting scathing remarks about minding his own business when realization struck. Wait! How do you know my husband's name? Ryan froze like a deer in headlights. I pressed. Have you been stalking me since our breakup? Or, do you still have feelings? Trying to break us up? Crimson flooded his face as he spluttered, Laura. I've dated countless women since you. Never missed you once. Changed girlfriends daily abroad. Can't even remember your face. Actually, what was your name again? Totally slipped my mind. I'd hoped maturity might have tempered Ryan's temper over the years. Yet here he sat, puffing up like an angry cat. Calmly, I watched his meltdown unfold. The car pulled up just as we arrived downstairs. I opened the door to get out when Ryan grabbed my arm. Laura. Let me say it again, I don't like you. And your taste in men sucks. How charming, he'd gotten so worked up he started insulting himself. I simply replied, Ryan. Thanks for the ride home. By the way, when did I ever tell you where I live? Bentley windows aren't soundproof. Even blocks away. I could still hear his furious howling. Ethan didn't return until midnight. I spotted a fresh hickey on his neck but quickly looked away without asking. He headed to the shower, his discarded shirt revealing 2 lipstick stains and lingering floral perfume. Clumsy boy. I hurriedly tossed the evidence into the washing machine before he could waste time making excuses. After showering, Ethan fell asleep instantly. I lay awake, Ryan's flustered denial replaying in my mind. Ding, Ethan's phone lit up. The notification didn't rouse him but caught my attention. Professional instincts kicking in. I checked the screen. A client's message glared, 1 hour. Get here. Again? Didn't they just? What magical skills did Ethan possess that I'd somehow missed? Regardless, customer demands reign supreme. I dramatically flopped over to wake him only to get sleepy mumbles. Desperate. I brewed him Red Bull mixed with goji berries. Honey. Wake up. I shook him urgently. You've worked so hard, drink this first. Ethan gulped the concoction, eyes snapping wide. Too awake now. He scrolled through TikTok trying to regain drowsiness until he saw the message. He bolted upright. Babe. I need to go out. Go. Go. I sighed in relief. As he rushed out, Ethan paused. Aren't you going to ask where? He's being dramatic again. I forced a look of sympathy. Busy with work. I suppose? Ethan's eyes flickered with something complicated. Before I could react, he lunged forward and wrapped his arms around me. Honey. He choked back the rest of his sentence, abruptly switching gears. I should get going. Right. Hurry along. Wouldn't want your paycheck docked for being late. When Ethan returned, dawn was barely breaking. The slam of the door jolted me awake. I blinked groggily as he stumbled into the bedroom. Holy hell, my legs were trembling violently. My back refused to straighten, and every cell in my body screamed exhaustion. That sugar mama would probably dump him soon. Time to brainstorm a backup plan. Using the money from his sugar mama, I leased a storefront. Years as a homemaker had sharpened my baking skills. So I started selling coffee and pastries. Within days, an unwelcome visitor arrived, a young woman dripping in designer clothes. A delicate brooch I'd helped Ethan pick out glinted on her blazer. I'd been unsure at first, but her mocking smirk confirmed it. Not a sugar mama, a sugar mama's bratty little sister. What insane luck Ethan had. Welcome. What can I get you? I chirped. Menu in hand. My voice artificially sweet. If only she weren't straight. She slapped the menu aside. I'm here for you. The air turned icy. I plastered on a smile. How can I help? Sophia. She lifted her chin. Ethan's girlfriend. Girlfriend? I'd expected her to say kept man. At least she's polite. When I didn't react, she added, we've slept together. Obviously. I nodded eagerly. You have to sleep with him. Otherwise, how could I spend your money guilt-free? Her composure cracked. You're okay with this? Do you even love him? Love or not? Honestly, I can't tell if this rich girl has some weird kinks. Does she prefer the original spouse being docile and drama-free? Or does she find it more thrilling when the spouse makes a scene? I cautiously probed. What do you think, should I love him? Or not? Honestly, I'm flexible. Client's wish is my command. But hearing this, Sophia made a face like she'd swallowed something vile. After an awkward silence, she cut to the chase. Actually, I came today to ask you to get divorced. Huh? This sugar baby wasn't following the usual script. So young yet already trying to chain herself down. Clearly lacks the boldness of older sugar mamas. I tried reasoning with her. With your looks and resources, you could have anyone. Why obsess over this particular tree? Besides, Ethan's really nothing special. He was decent looking during college. But now he's just a greasy middle-aged guy. Mediocre in bed too, no creativity. No stamina. Sophia's expression grew increasingly strange, looking at me like I'd lost my mind. Finally she sighed and slammed an ultrasound report on the table. I'm pregnant. My child needs a father. TSK. How careless. You youngsters really lack experience. I shook my head in mock despair, then suddenly brightened. Wait! The baby does need a father, but does it have to be Ethan? Girl, think outside the box. Snap your fingers and a dozen eligible bachelors would line up to be daddy. My brilliant suggestion clearly didn't impress her. Laura, are you insane? She shrieked. Ethan doesn't love you anymore. You're just clinging to him for money. Now hold on. I protested. It's not his money, it's your money. Sophia momentarily choked, then unexpectedly cracked a smile. Studying this love-struck heiress, I finally offered, divorce is possible, but shouldn't you compensate me? She looked baffled. You're treating marriage like a business deal? I mirrored her confusion. Wait, isn't it? In the end, Sophia stormed out. She wouldn't even accept my rock-bottom price of $20 million. Guess Ethan's stuck with me now. When I closed shop and returned home, Ethan was already there, massaging his red, swollen knees. He hastily pulled down his pant legs when I entered. Did the sugar baby punish you? I raised an eyebrow. Kinky. Judging by his expression, Sophia probably hadn't told him about today's incident. Ethan quickly stepped forward and embraced me. carrying me straight to the bedroom. Honey, it's been so long since darling. I'm exhausted today. Let's do this another time. What's gotten into these old married folks? Are we trying to set some kind of record? I twisted out of Ethan's arms. Not tonight. Thanks. Though honestly, it's strange. How does he still have energy after catering to those wealthy older clients all day? Has Ethan unlocked some secret stamina hack? Wait, hold on. Sophia's already pregnant. They probably haven't. But Ethan's been nursing those knee injuries lately. And his back still gives him trouble. If he weren't getting thoroughly drained elsewhere, would he be like this? The questions kept me awake. That night, I waited until Ethan fell asleep before unlocking his phone. The sugar client's profile showed a solid black image with a period as the username. The chat history remained brutally transactional, completely unlike how any normal woman would text. My suspicions growing. I tiptoed to the bathroom with the phone. First call, declined. Second attempt, rejected again. A message appeared, what? Definitely not Sophia's style. I stayed silent and redialed. Another rejection. New message, told you not to call. Want your payment cancelled? Undeterred. I tried again. Finally, the line connected. Hello? My breath caught. That's a man's voice. The caller grew impatient with the silence. Ethan. What the hell? Not just any man, that voice sounded exactly like Ryan. I blurted out, Ryan? Laura? Laura? Ryan's shock mirrored mine. I froze. Mouth agape. Struggling to form words. When I finally spoke, it came out strangled. Care to explain? Do I need to explain myself to you? Ryan snapped back. But I'm swamped lately. I have a business trip tomorrow and project negotiations all week. Stop bothering me. Ryan blurted out before hanging up. My head was pounding like it was about to explode. Though many things still confused me, I'd pieced together one crucial fact: Sophia wasn't some sugar daddy, but actually pregnant with Ethan's child. Storming out of the bathroom, I hurled my phone at Ethan's head. He jolted awake, panic flashing across his face as he saw the illuminated screen displaying his incriminating chat history with the supposed benefactor. Honey, I can explain. I grabbed his collar. Start by explaining Sophia. Soph. I don't know any Sophia. Ethan denied, though his guilty expression betrayed him. Really? I sneered. Then how's she carrying your child? Realizing the jig was up, he scrambled off the bed to kneel at my feet. I'll make her get an abortion. Ethan didn't love me, he just feared losing half his assets in a divorce. I kicked him away. Now explain the sugar daddy situation. Strangely, Ethan gained confidence here. He's a man. Nothing happened, I did it to support our family. Cut the crap. What exactly did you do? Ethan swallowed hard. Made me kneel in the room. That's it? Sometimes, he made me kowtow. And paid you $200,000 monthly for that? Ethan nodded meekly. At first I thought he was deranged. But the money cleared immediately. Most times he'd ignore me while working. It sounds insane. But it's true. Absurd as it seemed. I believed him. This reeked of Ryan's vindictive streak, pure petty revenge. My phone rang with an unknown number. Laura. Ryan's voice crackled through. I'm outside your building. Want answers? Come down. I found Ryan leaning against his car, flicking a lighter open and shut despite being a non-smoker. What a poser. Why'd you sponsor Ethan? I demanded. Don't call it sponsorship. He smirked. Call it torment. Humiliation. Psychological warfare, anything but that. Then why? I hate him. Is that not allowed? Because of me? Ryan let out a forced, theatrical laugh, nearly choking himself. Laura, can you stop being so narcissistic? What does this have to do with you? Then you're just bored. So what if I am? Ryan slouched carelessly as he tucked the lighter into his suit pants pocket, deliberately avoiding my probing gaze. He continued as if talking to himself. And the money transfers? Definitely not because I was worried you'd be broke or compromising your lifestyle. I just wanted to flaunt my wealth after hearing about your family's bankruptcy. What about all those designer clothes and bags? I've got more cash than I know what to do with. Random shopping spree. My voice tightened. You knew about Ethan's affair? That's why you made those comments in the car? Stumbled upon it accidentally. How accidental? Ryan suddenly clamped his mouth shut, crossing his arms and turning his head away. His well-intentioned actions always emerged as defensive quips, residual anger coloring every syllable. I softened my tone. Stop with these childish games. I'm going upstairs. As I walked away, his voice cracked through the parking lot. Will you divorce him? None of your business. I called back without turning. The violent slam of a car door echoed behind me, followed by dramatic wailing. She said it's none of my business? After all my careful planning, she says it's none of my business? I spun around, yelling toward the Mercedes. Keep it down. Your windows aren't soundproof. The noise ceased abruptly. After prolonged silence came an overly casual reply. TCH. Got my hand caught in the door earlier. Mildly painful. Perhaps Sophia's visible pregnancy had awakened Ethan's dormant paternal instincts. After shredding countless divorce agreements, he finally signed. We split assets evenly. He kept the house, though whether from guilt or confidence in future earnings, I couldn't tell. Ryan wouldn't be funding his ventures anymore. Those $200,000 monthly deposits would stop permanently. Gloomy clouds hung low as I exited the Civil Affairs Bureau. I walked straight to my cafe where Ryan waited, jaw clenched so tight his lips blanched, though amusement kept leaking through. Ignoring him, I unlocked the door. His muttering followed me inside. Laura, don't you dare expect me to want a divorced woman. The phrase felt familiar, but I busied myself behind the counter. Ryan flopped into a chair like he owned the place. Make me your specialty, he demanded, the ghost of a smile finally breaking through. So I poured Ryan a full cup of espresso shots. Let him stay wired for 3 days straight. Ryan remained even after closing time. I turned off the kitchen lights, hinting he should leave. Suddenly a rock smashed through the glass door. Are you okay? Ryan stood up to check on me. I rushed outside and found Sophia standing at the entrance. When she saw me, she shoved me hard. How dare you split Ethan's assets? That money belongs to Ethan. The house too. What gives you the right? A crowd began gathering. 2 women fighting? Their favorite entertainment. Ryan stepped between us, shielding me from judgmental stares. But Sophia grew more agitated seeing him. Laura, you already got yourself a boy toy after divorcing? Guess you were planning this all along. I tried avoiding conflict with a pregnant woman, but her vicious words kept coming. I stepped around Ryan's protection to face her directly. A sharp slap landed on her cheek. Did you know Ethan was kept by sugar daddies? I can spread rumors too. As Sophia froze, I continued, you only married Ethan because he dressed fancy and threw money around. Didn't you? Thought you landed a golden boy? His cash came from male sponsors. Oh, and his sugar daddy's still around. Shut up. Sophia covered her ears, shaking violently. Lies. I don't believe you. I smirked coldly. Believe what you want. But if you keep harassing me, I'll send proof of Ethan's arrangements to your neighborhood chat, your office group, even your parents. The crowd's mocking whispers made Sophia retreat. I grabbed her wrist. Pay for my broken door. Now. or I call the cops. After scanning the payment code resentfully, Sophia fled. The spectators dispersed. I finally exhaled. Ryan arched an eyebrow. What evidence? I never touched your ex. I glared. Exactly. So why's she slandering us? His gaze darkened strangely. Almost disappointed. My best friend Lily heard about the divorce. Begged me to celebrate at the bar. Ryan followed us, occupying a nearby booth. I approached him exasperated. Ryan, stop tailing me. He sipped his drink. This isn't your property. Then why block all men at the door? Women-only policy? Actually, yes. This is my family's bar. No use arguing. I slumped back to our table. Girl, you're on fire. Lily's voice cut through the thumping music. Looks like Ryan still carries a torch for you. Huh? I forced a bitter laugh. He should let it go. We're from different worlds. Strobe lights blurred as alcohol numbed my senses. The bass line fading in and out. Waving weakly at Lily. I slurred. I'm done. Can't handle more. She steadied me toward the exit when Ryan silently appeared, gripping my other arm. I'll drive you both. Just take her. Lily winked exaggeratedly. Don't worry about me. I don't need MMPH. A large hand clamped over my mouth before I was unceremoniously stuffed into the back seat. Lily leaned through the window, drilling Ryan with instructions. She's divorced now. Got it? Remember those romance novels? When the heroine gets drunk, she always ends up in the hero's bed. No pressure. But if she gives you an opening, wrong. You pounce immediately. I interjected, head lolling out the window. Y'all realize I can hear your trashy scheming, right? Drunk. Not deaf. Ryan delivered me home as promised. True to his word. He didn't touch the water I offered. Yet he lingered in my bedroom doorway, gaze burning into where I lay cocooned in blankets. Waiting for your opportunity? I challenged. Hardly. His jaw tightened. Just making sure you don't choke on your own vomit. The charged silence stretched until he finally spoke. Laura, have you been okay these past years? Hearing actual sincerity in his voice, I considered. Ethan kept me comfortable before the bankruptcy. Then you took over. A sudden snort escaped me. Still cracks me up, paying him $200,000 monthly just to watch him kneel. Rich people hobbies. Huh? Think it's funny? His shadow loomed closer. Return the money then. I yanked the comforter over my head. Can't. Asleep now. The mattress dipped as his muffled chuckle vibrated through the fabric. That night, I didn't hook up with the male lead as Lily's trashy novels dictated. I passed out mid-thought. Dawn shattered through my phone's insistent ringing. Ethan's name flashed on screen. I didn't answer. My head was pounding. So I tried to get up and find some hangover medicine. But then I saw Ryan sitting at the living room desk, typing away on his laptop. Why are you still here? I asked. I didn't want you choking on your own vomit in the middle of the night. He replied without looking up from his screen. I wanted front row seats to that glorious spectacle. Then where'd the laptop come from? My assistant dropped it off this morning. I frowned. Why not just go back to the office? Ryan finally looked up, brows furrowed like I'd grown a second head. Laura. Are you really this ungrateful? I carried your drunk ass home, babysat you all night, and now you're kicking me out. It's practically noon, not even gonna offer me lunch? I clamped my hand over his mouth. Enough. Pulling out my phone with my free hand, I said, takeout's on me. Ryan shook his head violently until I released him. Don't be ridiculous, since when do I eat takeout? Braised chicken with noodles? No. Extra hand-pulled noodles? I said no braised chicken. Are you deaf? Mild spice? 20 minutes later. Ryan was slurping noodles with abandon, chili oil splattering his designer white shirt. He called his assistant to bring fresh clothes, then headed for the shower. "I'll leave the clothes outside the bathroom," I said dryly. "Don't even think about parading around in a towel trying to seduce me." His jaw clenched. "In your dreams. You should delete that trashy romance app first." I swallowed my hangover pills with an eye roll. "You delete yours. I can still read you like a book, every stupid thought's still written all over your face." The shower stopped as I cleaned up. A knock came at the door, but instead of the assistant, Ethan stood there. He slipped past me into the living room. "Laura, why aren't you answering my calls? Ignoring ex-husbands is basic etiquette. I know you're upset." He forced a smile. "I just wanted to apologize for Sophia bothering you yesterday." "Apology accepted. Now leave." Ethan hesitated. "Could you maybe clarify those sugar daddy rumors? You know nothing happened with that sponsor. But Sophia's been calling me disgusting since last night." "Ah, the real agenda." "No," I said flatly. "Not my circus. Not my monkeys." Ethan, who had been acting submissive moments ago, suddenly adopted a defiant attitude upon hearing my words. "Laura, are you really going this far? Do we have to make things this ugly between us? When Sophia mentioned you'd found some gold digger, I didn't even confront you about it." The bathroom door swung open mid-sentence. "Who are you calling a gold digger?" Ryan emerged wearing nothing but a towel, his damp hair dripping onto sculpted shoulders. Though, I couldn't help noticing his abs looked particularly defined today. Ethan froze, his face draining of color as he recognized the man before him, his most important investor. "Mr. Lee?" he stammered, throat bobbing nervously. "What are you doing here?" "Being the gold digger, apparently." Ryan crossed his arms, biceps flexing under droplets of water. His gaze swung between us, disbelief etching deeper with each heartbeat. "You too, since when? Laura remained completely faithful during your marriage." Ryan cut him off coldly. "Anything beyond that isn't your concern." Ethan's eyes suddenly lit up as he grabbed my wrist. "I get it now. You're just using him to make me jealous. Aren't you, Laura?" The mental gymnastics left me speechless. His outrage probably stemmed more from losing access to that $200,000 investment than any actual heartbreak. Ryan's jaw tightened visibly, his patience evaporating. Without warning, his palm cradled the back of my head, pulling me into the citrusy warmth of his still damp skin. Our lips hovered millimeters apart, a perfect illusion of intimacy from certain angles. But the ragged hitch of his breath against my cheek betrayed the act. His darkened eyes fixed on my parted lips with startling intensity. The man had self-control forged in steel. I didn't. My lips brushed his in the ghost of a kiss. Ryan's eyes flew wide. Ethan's went even wider. Had it been anyone else standing beside me, Ethan would have made a scene. But facing the Lee family heir, he could only mutter excuses while backing toward the exit. Relief flooded me as the door clicked shut until I turned and found Ryan's burning gaze pinning me in place. "That wasn't," I began weakly. His arms snaked around my waist, radiating heat through thin fabric. "Admit it, Laura." His voice dropped to a rumble. "You've been crazy about me this whole time." Calloused fingers traced my jawline. "Still remember I can't handle spicy food after all these years apart?" With just one look from me, you knew exactly what I wanted. You couldn't even contain the excitement surging through you as you kissed me forcefully. "Laura, you're absolutely crazy about me." "Fine. I'll be merciful today and give you this chance to be with me." The last shred of rationality in my mind made me push Ryan away. "Ryan." "But we can't." My rejection died halfway as he scooped me up and headed toward the bedroom. While carrying me, he declared, "Laura, we're perfect for each other." The next day when opening the shop, I could barely stand straight from the soreness in my waist. This single day felt more exhausting than an entire work week. Thankfully, the store wasn't busy, giving me time to rest and recover. That afternoon, a familiar figure lingered outside the entrance for ages. Only when she walked in did I realize it was Ryan's mother. Did she find out right after we slept together? The information network of wealthy people really works fast. I was mentally calculating what would be an appropriate breakup settlement when Auntie suddenly collapsed to her knees before me. Laura dear, I was wrong before to separate you two. Auntie, what's wrong? Let's talk properly. Flustered, I helped her to the sofa and brought her a glass of water. Her tears kept flowing as she choked out. Laura, I went through so much trouble to find you. And I heard you're single now? This unexpected turn left me bewildered. Auntie produced a card. Continuing, there's 10 million here. Please take it. I'm begging you to get back together with Ryan. The full story emerged through her sobs. After their high school breakup, Ryan never dated anyone else. At first she'd worried he might have turned gay from heartbreak. Then she'd walked in on a man kneeling in his living room during a delivery. Turned out Ryan only shared location and time with his secret benefactor. Struggling to keep a straight face, I pretended reluctance. Well, I'll try. Auntie. My hand discreetly pocketed the card. And so I found myself inexplicably reunited with Ryan. Once he got a taste, he started coming over daily, stripping the moment he entered. Today I stopped him mid-routine. Ryan, I need to tell you something. I don't want to restart any marital commitments. If that's a problem. Laura, you think I do? Ryan forced a smirk. I just want to live in the moment. Even if you begged me to marry you, I wouldn't want to. With that declaration, he resumed removing his clothes. As if by some cruel twist of fate, a jewelry box tumbled out of my coat when I opened it. I absent-mindedly flipped the lid to find a diamond ring inside. Who left this here? Ryan put on his best clueless act. Must have been that person. I watched his terrible attempt at feigning innocence. My heart clenched as I threw myself into his arms. Ryan, I'm sorry. I almost let $10,000 make me lose someone as wonderful as you. His arms stiffened for a heartbeat before crushing me against his chest. Laura, he murmured into my hair. Don't you dare regret anything. Even if we hadn't broken up back then, there's no guarantee we'd still be together now. The universe never messes up these things. This, his fingers tangled in my hair as he tilted my face up, is exactly how it's meant to be.